And there he is.
Hey.
Kenny,
How you
what's
doing?
going on?
Well, thanks for having me. This is great. This is great.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us, man. I know
Absolutely.
you're busy. You got all kinds of things going on. Number one, you just got married.
I
not
just
too
got
long
married.
ago,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Congratulations.
March
How-
the 8th.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We just
Yeah.
made it in because literally right
Yeah.
after that, the whole world was shut down.
Oh, it was
And,
you. It was your fault.
You see?
You shut it down.
So it was
Yeah.
interesting to all of a sudden go from honeymoon to quarantine. But you know what? It felt like an extended honeymoon. It's been really nice and quiet and very different because I would have normally been traveling right after the wedding, like on a flight out of here. And it was a blessing, I think, to just, take a moment and just stop.
That's really
So
cool.
and my prayers to those who have been sick, have lost relatives, all that, because I have that experience as well. So I don't want to
Sorry to
be
hear
too,
that.
I don't want to say anything too callous about coronavirus and the this whole pandemic thing, but it was a blessing for me, like a reset. It definitely was.
Yeah, I'm getting that from a lot of people. This time, of course, you condolences to anyone that's lost family members and loved ones. But it's been like a big giant reset button for a lot of people, and good or bad. I know a lot of businesses kind of suffer and everything, but there's still some silver linings here and there. So
Absolutely.
Congratulations to you and Miss Faith Jenkins, of course.
Thank you.
Very well known Faith Jenkins, Judge Faith.
Judge
Judge
Faith.
Faith.
Judge Faith. And
So
I'm
you know
hearing-
she's the new judge on divorce court. I
That's
don't
what
know
I
if
was
everybody
about
knows
to
that.
say. What? You just get
That's
married, and all of a
awesome.
sudden you heading up divorce court. I don't know what.
But can you win any arguments? Like, do you understand?
It's tough.
Like,
It's tough
ugh.
because she's a smart lady, man. She is, but I'm glad that she loves me.
Right.
It takes all of the angst out of any kind of conversation. When you know that you have somebody that loves you, you don't really have arguments.
Yeah, this is true. We have a fan here, Iris. Miss Iris Hamilton says hello.
Hi,
Say, hey,
Iris.
Ken.
Oh, there she is.
How are
There she
you?
is, popping in there.
Thanks
And
for joining us.
what I discovered is we are birthday twins.
Oh, really?
April 10th.
Get out of here!
No
Yay!
joke. No joke.
Okay,
I
so
will
are
tell
you
how
you
old I
have
am.
you have like your laid back kind of thing too, and you're like what do people say about me? I'm very easygoing. I think my wife would say I'm probably easy to live with. Even in the quarantine.
She signed the contract. She don't have to say that.
You better be easy to live with, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. People might say that I read easygoing, and that would be a mistake. To
Okay.
read me as
Okay.
easygoing.
Because it's
all
like
fire.
don't mess with us
All
though.
fire.
Don't mess with us. Yeah,
It's all fire.
yeah.
Come on, man. Us February Pisces. Come on. We're the
I don't know how we
We're the
work
truth.
this out, Jeremy. I don't know. Like, there's the water and the fire, but somehow we figure it out.
You figure it out. Yep.
I have learned the best way to deal with here. Handle CC is just to let CC be.
Just
I
let her
just
be.
I let her be,
Smart man.
and same as the way I do with my wife. I
Yeah.
just let her be, and
You got good
I'm
home
alive. I'm alive and well. There you go. Well, Kenny, of course, you've been a long time star in R&B and a number of hits and everything else, but your name was recently back to trending here, just a few weeks ago with, of course, the airing of The Last Dance and Michael Jordan, and it was long known that Jordan was jamming out to something good back in the days, back before those playoffs and everything else. Little did we know it was one of your hit songs, man.
Wow,
now, when they called you and told you, like, hey, your name's about to drop on one of that, what was the initial reaction that you had? Like, really?
It was crazy because I didn't know that much about The Last Dance, that it was coming. Probably just from being on the road. That's what happens. I get out of touch with what's really happening in entertainment and news. And then I have these moments where it's like, okay, now you're in. But I did get a call sometime, I think it was in April. And ESPN people said, well, we have this documentary, The Last Dance, and there's a scene where we just ask Michael Jordan what he's listening to, and he says Kenny Lattimore. Okay, that's cool because
Did
they
you have
had
to clear
they
the
had to call
song?
me. That was the whole thing. They had to license the song through me because I wrote the song, and I thought to myself, okay, that's authentic. We have a long relationship with him. The starting. Let me try to back myself up a bit. It started with, if you remember the Michael Jordan cologne. Do you remember the cologne?
Oh wow,
See,
yeah.
okay, see that goes back.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
he was a big fan of my first album, and on his commercials, he wanted to use "Never Too Busy," which was my first single that came out. Because I didn't write "Never Too Busy," it went through the music publishers of the songwriters, and I think what they did was they said, "Hey, it's Michael Jordan. That means cha-ching, money, money. Just get him for all you can get." I think that's what people really thought. And the deal did not work out because I think that they couldn't come to terms with how much they were going to pay for this song. So, as a young artist, it really just, that hurt, it was like a little sucker punch. And I thought to myself, well, what happens? When am I going to see this guy now? I would have loved to have had the association back then when my career's just starting. But thank God I got a call for the brand Jordan launch. And he was like, I want you to come in and I want you to sing for the launch. And when I got to New York, because I think it was in New York, he had me singing for like a luncheon. So it was a long table. But before he would let anybody in, he had a moment with he and Ahmad Rashad, his buddy. And he said, Kenny, I want you to sing. Of course, I was like, wow, it's Michael Jordan. But he comes in and he says, I want you to sing a song called Forever. Now, Forever, you had to be a fan to know Forever. It was not one of my hit songs. It was a great song, I thought. I wrote that too. So I'm happy that he knows it. But that's when I found out that he was really a fan. So it wasn't unusual for him to be listening to me. But who knew that he was going to be listening to me like before the game, like his hype music? I had no clue.
Yeah.
So
and
this
to
clip
is that
comes
a hype
on.
Song?
Well, the Days Like This song, it does have a little beat. It has a little bounce too.
Beat. Yeah.
It's got a little bounce. I was experimenting with this form of music called speed garage that was happening in London, and I wanted to be the first to merge R&B and speed garage together. And speed garage, like, I don't know what happened. Like the sound, when I listen to Days Like This now, it doesn't sound like it's old or anything. It just sounds like something that was just different. So maybe it was before its time. I don't know. And it took 22 years so that it would become new all over again. But what a blessing, a tremendous blessing. And it brought back so many great memories. I did not remember sending him, the first thing didn't go, oh yeah, I sent him that as an advanced copy or anything. I didn't even remember. I was like, oh my God, I sure did. It brought back so many memories, just hearing him talk about the music, and watching The Last Dance in general brought back so many memories. Oh my gosh.
It was a real kind of defining era for a lot of people. You remember where you were when the Bulls were playing, whether it was a championship or not. Actually, when he said it on the show, I was like, Alexa, play For You by Kenny Lattimore.
Yes.
Oh, Alexa, turn off. It just hurt me.
You got a sensitive Alexa. I love it.
But I mean, that was obviously your biggest hit, the one that you won the Grammy for, and the one that you're most recognized for. Is there a song in the collection that you still kind of have a special place for, other than that one? You know what?
When I'm doing most of my shows, I think some of the newer material that I've done recently has been resonating. There's a song called Love Me Back that I like, which again is more on the up-tempo side. I've just been having so much fun with my shows that my goal was to do 4 genres in my long show. So I do jazz, I do gospel, I do R&B, and like pop. And I have these dramatic moments in the show that allow me to just stretch out and go and tell stories. So it's really like going to see a Vegas show.
Yeah. Get you a Vegas show, Kenny.
I would love it. Yeah, I get to do Frank Sinatra, Nat King. I mean, it's like, and then blend all of that into music that I grew up listening to. We used to call it the Quiet Storm. And I think a lot of cities duplicated this format called the Quiet Storm that was birthed in Washington, D.C. And so I just try to give homage to all of the different styles and influences.
Well, you know, for now that your music's kind of made its way back into, I guess, NBA talk and circles, well, what's some of that music you would send to these young players like that? Now that you know guys can get hyped to anything,
right?
What are you sending to the young cats right now?
It's interesting because when I saw the whole thing, and the memes were hilarious because they're like, no way, he's not listening to this song. Or what's he listening to something never to? It can't be. It's not hype enough. He's got to be listening to rap. So it ended up, of course, being a great day for R&B. It was a great time for R&B just being tributed in the series. But I thought about it and I kept saying, well, for Michael Jordan to exercise such excellence, precision, like stop on a dime, shoot, get it, all that, maybe he just needed to be mellowed, Yeah. Because sometimes you can be like, you can overhype yourself.
Be hype all the time.
And be hype all the time and it not really translate into excellence on the court. So I think that, there's something in there so you can kind of mellow out. So it started a conversation where I heard people talking about they listen to gospel and they listen to different things, whatever inspires you. I think that is the most important thing because we feel different every day. I think it's just like fashion for us too. Clothing, we change, we put on things based on how we're feeling. If we want to just go out and kind of grunge, we put it on, or if we feel like dressing up, it makes us feel a certain way. I think music is the same way. It just describes how we are in that moment. So I think it could be anything.
I saw you play live. I'm not going to say when and date myself, but I'm pretty sure it was the Blue Note, though, in DC. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a minute, but you're a storyteller. You tell stories, and it reminded me, I was kind of listening back to your catalog this afternoon. It's the 100th. I think Nat King Cole would have been 100 this year.
Yes.
And it just kind of like took me back to like listening to my aunties, and then I'm listening to Nat King Cole. Were you a fan of Nat King Cole?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I was about 14, he was one of the early singers that I had the nerve to try to imitate. I was deathly shy when I grew up. I really was. It's surprising. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay.
I was. But at the same time, it was almost like I had this thing in front of me. I wanted to do music and I knew I wanted to do music, but it was scary sometimes. I started taking voice lessons at 12 years old. And because my mom discovered that I could sing and she said, "You want to take voice lessons?" I didn't know what voice lessons were, but I was like, okay, whatever. As long as I'm not in trouble, we'll do it. So I started taking them and I was singing, "I left my heart in San Francisco upon a hill it called to me," Tony Bennett and stuff like that. So the American Songbook, which Nat King Cole did, was perfect for me. Great melodies, laid back. He had such class and sophistication to him, So he was a great example. And I definitely tribute him almost in all of my shows. Whenever I can, I do "The Very Thought of You" has a very special moment in the middle of my show where I kind of shut the place down. I do it in a style that starts out very much like him, but ends in almost like a Broadway moment. So I kind of hype it like where Frank Sinatra would go towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got a brand new one out with my guy Boney James.
James.
Man.
Oh, we were supposed to see you too in what was it, in April? Yeah. Before all this, I was looking forward to coming and seeing you guys in Vegas. But Boney James is such a dynamic performer and great musician. He sent me this track, this musical track, and we wrote a song called "Be Here" to it with a guy named Trakar Wesley, and just. Man, I'm just very proud of the song and that everything is really flowing with the success of that song as well.
Man, I'm telling you, if it's not the quarantine's fault, and it's you and Boney James, we start having these quarantine babies.
We're gonna make some babies out here. Yeah,
do soon.
Man.
Babies do soon.
I'm telling you, man. Me and my wife, our kids are almost grown. We almost done, but we almost had baby number 3. So I mean, if so, I'm hitting you up.
Checking on y'all in January.
A wonderful song, by the way. If you haven't seen
it's
live music video where y'all kind of just sitting there, riffing back and forth and everything.
Yeah,
just something you could put on and really just jam out to, man. since we are a sports show and everything, who are your teams, man? Who do you follow? What sports do you like?
It's so funny when you're from DC. Mm-hmm. Even though my home teams let me down quite a bit. I'm on the football side. I'm a Redskin fan, so it makes for an interesting conversation in the house because my wife is from Louisiana. She's a Saints fan. So, but it's kind of cool because I get to kind of get on that bandwagon when the season for us ends.
both NFC teams, so keep rough.
We instead of being rivals, it's like I'll just go ahead and I just change over and kind of go along with her when it's like okay. But
well, I mean, being a Redskins fan, what do you think about the name? Should the team change the name? I mean, what side of the aisle do you sit on?
You know what? I really don't have a strong opinion about it, but I understand. I do understand. I think that this is an interesting time where we do have to be sensitive to one another and just try to see things the way another person sees it, because we've lived such different lives, especially when you grow up and it's like, all I can think of is the Redskins and the tradition of all of that. But it doesn't mean that there aren't people that are hurting over, the use of the term. So, and I think that, hey, if you come up with another name, that the Bullets, we were the Bullets in DC, which was a horrible name for our basketball team, and we had to evolve from there to the Wizards.
Gotcha.
We were the murder capital of the country for a long time, and we were the Bullets, right? So, and the name does whatever you rebrand and market. I don't think that anyone will ever forget or miss the heart of what the Redskins represented for the era that it represented it. Right. So, it's all marketing and money.
Well, and you were just about to let us know who you followed in basketball. Is it the Bulls because of your relationship with Jordan, or is it somebody else? You know what?
I'm out here in LA with the Lakers. And so for I've been out here for a really long time, and I got into the Lakers. And it's interesting because basketball is one of my absolute favorite sports, but I'm horrible at basketball. And so I was like, man, I wish I knew more about it and was able to follow it in another way. But I really got into it a lot more because I kept meeting the players. Mm-hmm. Right. And when I started having more brotherhood with the players, it made me more vested in it. And I just enjoyed it so much. But the Lakers are my team, though. And anytime I can go to a Lakers game, I'm there.
So you don't have a problem with LeBron being on the Lakers, because you must have been a Kobe guy, right?
Definitely a Kobe guy, and the Kobe Shaq era. What I mean, what you're like, oh, but before, oh my gosh! But even before that, Magic Johnson. I mean, the legacy of the Lakers is so crazy. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, it's just incredible.
So you got your guy Kobe, who brought you all those championships, and of course. Yeah. Your dear friend Mike over here, the debate: who's better, Kobe or Mike?
Okay, I'm going to always give it to Mike. I'm always or LeBron. I'm gonna give it to Mike all day. And I love the other guys, but it was so many things happening. I mean, the dimension of who Michael Jordan was in that era for his era, I think it was just so untouchable.
Right.
But each person has their own time period. It's hard to compare eras. I think it's really difficult.
It really is.
Everybody's got their guy.
Yeah, and in just a couple of minutes, we're going to have the center from the Bulls, Bill Cartwright.
Yeah,
and my man he might throw an elbow on you, man. I don't know.
It was a different kind of playing back then too.
Hey man, I'm just saying.
Man, the rules kind of changed.
Come in that lane, you're gonna pull back a nub,
right? Because again, knowing some of the ball players back then, they used to be like, "Oh no, it was rough." That elbow in the chest, and right. it was a lot more physical. And I know that even again, because I don't really play because I'm not great at it. But when I'm watching the game and there's a whistle all the time about something, it's like, wait a minute, can we just play this game? Right. But I do know that it is very physical, a lot more physical than it looks sometimes.
Exactly. Well, Kenny, before we let you go, what new projects do you have coming up? We got some new music we can throw out there for the fans, man.
Yeah, well, I'm glad about the again, the Boney James Be Here. You guys check it out.
Yeah.
I am about to do some acting. I've got to talk about that, once I really started.
Nice.
I've done acting in the past, but I'm going to do some things that will be a little broader where people can see it. And I'm just happy, the Divorce Court. I actually have the theme song, a new theme song for Divorce Court.
Oh, cool.
And so, having my wife.
Wait, you're going to sing the new theme song in Divorce Court?
I'm going to sing the new theme song.
You got married.
Come on,
Judge Faith.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone. He's going to do everything.
Watch out.
So look out for, she is, and she just shot the promos and the photo. Oh my gosh, she looks amazing. And I just feel so blessed right now. And that's really the focus for me. It's like I get a chance to just stop for a minute and be a husband and be a supporter for a minute. I didn't plan on doing any new music until next year, but because of this whole Last Dance thing, we've been starting to gather songs that I think are worthy for an album. But I think I'm only at number 4 or 5 out of 10. So I have a little ways to go before I have what I need for new music. But the way time is, and we're still, pretty much in quarantine, that time will probably go a lot faster than I'm indicating right now.
There you go. Well, we can.
I know one thing that I am doing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I launched a new store for merchandise because with Michael Jordan and the headphones and all that, I had some great guys. They're called. They have a brand called Blairisms. Blair and Brandon Dot Haley, they took over my online store and they created something that gives tribute to that moment on the documentary with the headphones and what are you listening to, and some of my song lyrics. They were like, you know what? A lot of people know, like on the For You, for you, I give a lifetime of stability, or this life is no good alone. So in a way for me to inspire people and encourage people, we have like a lyric collection where we have some of the words of my songs on T-shirts and things like that. So
where can people find it?
Go to KennyLattimore.com and there's a little button that says shop and it'll take you to the KL store and you'll see some of the merchandise and the, coffee mugs and T-shirts and all kind of things that are, again, inspirational ideas and things that they're just coming from the Kenny Lattimore brand.
Well, I mean, you're a tremendous songwriter, so I bet you those lyrics actually resonate well. So, Miss Hamilton,
yes, we do have face masks. Yes, we do.
Yeah. More face masks.
I did a song for my Christmas album called "Everybody Loves Somebody," and it inspired the guys at Blairism to create face masks with it and some T-shirts that are really nice. That some of the ladies have been buying as well because they have hearts and stuff on them. It's interesting because we have not done a big launch yet. I think that will happen in July. But so this is an early exclusive that anybody listening now can go and check the store out.
Hey, there you go. You heard it here first.
People are wondering because, the quarantine and the shutdown has been very difficult for people, various businesses and workers and parents and just folks. So it's good to hear that somebody is actually taking advantage of the time to do something productive and positive. And Kenny, it was great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Now I know that we birthday twins.
Hey, I love it. So I got to get to Vegas April 10th, and we got to
start. Yes. Ginger ale.
Come on, there you
go. Me too. That is so crazy. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Me and you, we got ginger ale or ginger beer.
Ginger beer
all day long.
Listen, I know like all the top ginger beer brands. Listen, like there's one that you got to check out.
Well, you know what? We're going to close this interview.
I love that one. I love that one too.
You two are too much.
We're drinking clean.
Well, Kenny,
I appreciate you all so much. Thank
you so much for taking time out and everything. We can't wait to hear the new stuff. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
And
I think that's
go to KennyLattimore.com, get the news, his new merchandise, his lyrics all over. And yes, he's got face masks too. And he'll pop some ginger beer with you whenever he gets back to Vegas, man. We appreciate your time, man.
Bless
you so much.
Bye now.
Take care.
Take it easy.